What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome back. So, if you've been watching my videos, you might have noticed that every now and again we talk or joke about I have a rivalry with Hank. It's a friendly rivalry. It's good. I love rivalries in sport and cycling, and it makes competition more fun. But we don't take it seriously. I think when people take it seriously, feelings get hurt, and like you can lose friendships and stuff over that kind of stuff. And so don't take it seriously. It's for fun. Now I want to talk for a minute about me and Hank's kind of build up because they probably couldn't hardly be more different. And I want to show you what I've done and what he's done kind of building up. Now, if you watched me do Ride to the Sky, you know that whatever he's doing is working a lot better than me, right? Me and Hank, our rivalry came from the past. We were riding together when we first started riding together. I think we were pretty equal, and could kind of like I might outsprint him, he might outclimb me, but we would kind of be pretty close to each other, like on rides if we were riding competitively. I beat him in a mountain bike race once. Surprisingly, he's beat me in lots of other races. So it's definitely like Hank 10, Gholson 2 or something. I don't think I'm really that competitive. So the rivalry is more like for fun now to me than actually serious. But I wanted to kind of show you this training. I asked Hank, I said, can you send me your kind of some of your, like, I wanted to get his freshness and fitness chart from Strava, which he doesn't use. He uses Training Peaks. So I'll just give you a little overview real quick of what we've been doing. So all winter, spring build up, I've basically just been following no plan. I just ride. I ride my bike. If I feel good, I ride hard. If I don't feel good, I basically ride about as much as I feel like I can do. I have issues I deal with riding, which I've probably talked about, but if not, I tend to have real slow starts, struggle a lot with like what feels like blood flow and stuff. And I've been checked out. I'm super clear on everything. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't know what's causing it. There's nothing that wrong with my heart and blood, we'll put it that way, my vessels and stuff. But anyway, definitely not a good starter, and sometimes that goes away and I ride better. But anyway, it makes training really hard in winter when you only have like an hour to train, because like it may take me 30-45 minutes to get to the point where I can start actually like riding harder a lot of times, especially later in the day after work or whatnot. So my riding has just been random, lots of endurance, lots of zone 2-ish, 1.5, some few intervals thrown in there every now and again, some Zwift racing that I push pretty hard on. And and so in April I switched to completely outdoors. I'm not doing any kind of, like intervals or anything outdoors. It's just riding and getting miles and enjoying riding a bike. Now, Hank, on the other hand, has been following coaching with Ignition Coaching Co. for, I think, the last 4 months. And it seems to be going really well. He seems to like it. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I would enjoy it, but it seems to be working for him. And so his rides on Zwift, he don't use Zwift at all. His rides on Strava have been mostly just indoor, like, training sessions on the trainer, where he's like following some kind of like plan, and it's usually not like, it doesn't look super complicated. It's like 2x10 at tempo, or VO, like so many minutes at threshold, and a VO2. It's all different kinds of workouts, and it's the kind of stuff that a serious cyclist is probably going to do to get stronger, whereas like somebody like me is not doing that. So I wanted to take a minute. I asked Hank, I said, can you show me some files, some charts? I want to compare what yours looks like and what mine looks like. Okay, let's look at the past 4 weeks to start with. You can see that Hank's getting quite a few more miles than me. The elevation probably doesn't really matter, since his is a lot of that's on the trainer. Look at that average time per week. That's a huge deal, though. Now I'm definitely going to pick that up. And back, weeks and weeks ago, we were a lot closer to even. But right now, he's definitely putting in more time than me, and it's going to show. Okay, now let's look at the whole of 2025 so far. You can see that we're pretty close to even on distance. The elevation's completely useless, because a lot of that elevation for me is from Zwift, which is just meaningless. And in the time there, we're putting in similar amounts of time. So I would say that, all in all, we ought to be pretty close to being in the same ballpark at this point in the year, right? Okay, here we have Hank's cycling time for the year so far. As you can see, it's pretty logical in that it ramped up. There was one really huge
week there in January. I'm not sure what that was about, but you can see it kind of ramps up, and he's had a couple weeks that are kind of like recovery weeks in early April and early May, but a nice ramp there. Now let's look at mine. So you can see I was putting in big time in January, February, and then it kind of died at the end of March a little bit when I started doing a lot more outdoor riding. It was just a lot more convenient and easy to get miles on Zwift and time on Zwift. And as soon as I switched to outdoor riding and had to contend with weather and just all of that, getting ready and more time, it's really kind of dropped, especially April. Now that's going to go up a lot now for me. Is outdoor riding better than indoor riding? I enjoy it a lot more, but I don't think it probably matters that much for training. In fact, I'd say Hank's probably getting a lot more bang for his buck. Since I don't use Training Peaks, I can't really show you an accurate comparison between me and Hank on this, but I think these are fairly similar. And really what matters is the actual look of the graph, I think, instead of the numbers. And I want to show you, this is my TTS, or what Strava calls freshness and fitness. So there it is. I'm currently setting at a 69, which is pretty cool, but it's a little higher than normal for me. I've done a more harder events than normal, and I think I did a pretty good build up until the last, like, say 4 weeks. But you can see it's mainly huge efforts and then long, slow drops where I'm not really able to, put in like consistent weekly effort to kind of build this. There's no ramp. It's about the same right now as it was. The only difference is that my form is pretty good because I've consistently held a decent amount of training stress so that I'm kind of build up to it. But so there's mine. Let's go take a look at Hank's. So here's the obvious thing. Even though we've done fairly similar amounts of like time and miles this winter and spring, look at the difference in his chart compared to mine. It's just a steady, slow build. He started a lot slower than me, and then he kind of built up over the last 4 months to just a steady, almost like stair-step climb, every now and again punctuated by high efforts and high fatigue, and then so you can see he's kind of had like logical blocks to his building. Let's check out some of these logical blocks that it looks like he's been following. Take a look at that chart. 6 weeks of kind of introductory buildup, followed by a 2-week kind of recovery. So first block, and then he kind of builds up that 3 weeks of kind of building back up a block, and then a drop off, and then now it looks like he's on another block building up. So an actual logical looking progression of building up fatigue, allowing that fatigue to come down, building up fatigue, allowing that fatigue to come down. So that's the difference between actually following some kind of structured training. Let's see if we can find it anywhere else. Now this duration chart is another great example to show you like how his training makes so much more sense and is actually going to work so much better than what I did. You can see that his duration, while it has kind of steadily increased, it really has kind of topped out, 8-9 hours for a longer week, and then maybe like 6-5 for recovery week. Whereas I've probably just been holding a standard like 7-8 hours duration nonstop when I can, just riding whenever I can. But look at the difference there. The blue line represents the TSS he's accumulated there, and you can see that it's slowly building up. So while his duration may have kind of like not really changed that much, it's actually the effort that he's putting in that is slowly ramped up and climbing. So he's getting more actual like I said, bang for the buck out of the time he puts into it because the intensity keeps going up. So there you go. Take a look between those two different charts. They pretty much represent the same thing. TSS, accumulated fatigue, fitness. You can see that mine has basically been a just flat, steady, just almost line across the screen. I'm not going to get any better. I'm just holding my own there, whereas Hank's represents a build and a logical increase in fitness that should theoretically make him a much stronger cyclist. And based on our results at Ride to the Sky, it definitely did.
Well, there you go, guys. There's a difference between riding for fun and just riding your bike the way I'm doing and training, what Hank's doing. I think that it's going to be a lot more successful. I think our rivalry is pretty much over. I'm expecting when we do start riding outdoors together more, I think we'll probably start riding Thursday nights, crit training. Hank's going to target some crits and this year, and so if we start doing some crit training like we've done in the past on Thursday night twilights, I would say that I'm going to be dropped a lot more often, which I usually was anyway from Hank, but we shall see. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for Hank for sending a video. Check him out on Regular Guy Cyclist. Great cycling videos. See you later.